Hey there, my artist friends. Guess what day it is? It is Tuesday's tip day, and I am going to give you a tip about tints and shades in watercolor. Now, a tint is any color that you add white to, and a shade is any color that you add black to. Now, since in watercolor, traditional transparent watercolor, you don't use black paint or white paint, you have to use the white of the paper to get a tint. And I'm going to show you how to get a shade without black and without white. So come on, let me go show you. Okay, so now we have the tint first. Remember, a tint is a color that you add white to. But since we don't typically use white, what we'll have to do is use the water to thin it and lighten it, as well as the white of the paper. The more water you put in there, then the lighter the tint will be, because more of the white of the paper will show through. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm putting down a pretty blue, and I am just going to put in as full of a strength as I can in my little square. This is just what we're starting with. It's as close to full strength out of the tube as I can get without making it too chalky. And that is the first square we're going to put down. And then each square, we are going to add a little bit more water to the paint to lighten it, or to thin it, make it a little bit more translucent. And the more translucent it is, the more that white shines through, the more of a tint it becomes. So we're just basically using the white of the paper in lieu of the white paint, in place of white paint. And the way that we're letting that white paper show through is just by adding a little bit more water each time we want it to get a little bit lighter. You add a little bit more water, and that's it. Now I'm going to speed this through so you can see it. Now that I've explained the process, I'm going to speed up the clip and let you go from there. All right. Here I've added just a little bit of water, so we're getting a lighter tint of the same color because a little more of that white paper is shining through. Okay, now I'm going to speed up the process since you know how to do it and just show it to you without talking. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to get a shade with the watercolor. Now, a shade is just a color where you've added black. Now, since we don't typically use black with transparent watercolor, what you want to do is use the complementary color of whatever color you're using. In this case, I'm using blue. The complementary color of blue is orange. And how you figure out what the complementary color is you get a color wheel, and whatever color is directly across the color wheel from the color you choose, that's its complementary color. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the blue down, and I've got 7 squares here. And you can practice this on your own. I've put the blue down almost full strength. Not as full strength as I did on the tints, because I wanted to make sure that you could see the difference in the tints. Then I'm going to take the orange and mix it with the blue, the two complementary colors together. I'm putting the complementary color at the bottom first in full strength, or as full of strength as you can get it. You just want to practice, and the main thing you want to practice is adding different amounts of the orange and blue together to get different shades of either orange or blue, because you can get shades of orange or shades of blue, and that's what I'm about to show you. Now you want to go ahead and mix together equal amounts of orange and blue together, and that is going to be your center square. So I'm just picking up orange and blue, And I'm trying to make it a nice neutral gray is what you'll want. So I'm trying to make sure that I have the same amount of each color to get a nice neutral gray, and I'm almost there. Just going to have to keep mixing it. And then I'm going to put that in that middle space. And remember, you can darken this by adding more blue and orange, and less water. I'm just demonstrating here, like I want you to just practice this, and this is how you do it. And then you practice on your own and get the exact shades that you want, as dark as you want. And the way that you do that is by adding more pigment and less water. So now we have in the middle of that blue and that orange, the neutral shade. It's a gray. So if you want to get a shade of blue, you'll just add a little bit more blue to that neutral gray. Paint that on there. Now that is a shade of blue. So simple without using black. And you'll continue to do that. Just add a little bit more blue until you get down to the neutral color. And then once you get to orange, you'll start with orange and add a little bit more blue with it, but it'll still be mostly orange, and work to the top back to that middle tone of gray, that neutral gray that's in the center of the two. And that's all you do. Whenever you want a shade of a color in watercolor, you add its complement. So if I wanted a shade of blue, I add orange. If I wanted a shade of orange, I just add some blue. But I want to make sure that whatever color I have, that's the dominant color in the mixture to make it a shade. So that's all you have to do. Now I am going to speed this up and just show you. As you see, I'm just adding a little bit more blue with a little bit more orange until I get down there. And those are some shades of blue that you see above that middle mid-tone gray. And then I'll make shades of orange that work up to that middle tone of gray. And to do that, I'll just start with my orange, add a tiny bit of blue, and that'll be a shade of orange. And then add a little bit more blue to it on the next square, and it'll be complete. I thought I was going to speed it up, but I told you a fib. I'm just going to go ahead and talk it through. I'm add a little bit of water to that because it's a little bit too dark. So there are some shades of orange and some shades of blue, and then the neutral gray right in the middle. And that's how you make shades with watercolor. You just add its complement. And the complement is the color directly across from it on the color wheel. Very easy. All right. Thanks for watching my Tuesday's tip. If you'd like to get my free watercolor course, How to Paint a Beautiful Butterfly, then go to www.artwithviv.com. Everything is there, totally free. Just sign up. See you there.